Hello, Lake County. This is your host, Dick Barr, back after 2 weeks with Unlocking Lake County. Here with my beautiful co-host, back from the, I'm not going to call it dead, but you've been gone for a long time, Christin.
It's
Christin
been like
Kaufman.
A month. Hello, everybody. I missed you all.
Yes.
I've missed you all back.
And also back in the studio, we got Sly Marinca.
Hello, everybody.
Sly is, of course, of the Sly Marinca team, the Cross Country Mortgage. Always appreciate your presence.
Thank you.
And we've got a super special guest in our studio today, voted Lake County's best female vocalist and performing artist, Kate Russell of According to Kate.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
It's going awesome.
Thank you so much for having me here today.
Oh, please. We love having you. This is our now fourth time we've had a musical guest in here. And I got to say, we're starting to transition. I think we enjoy these shows more than we show anything else. Yeah. There's such a cool aspect to having live music. And, you know, what's funny is we don't have as many technical difficulties when we have live musicians in. And you would think it would be the other way around.
Yeah. Well, it's been over a year now that you've been mastering your craft there behind the. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Are you telling me you don't find local politics as entertaining as music?
You know what Sly said after the last show? He goes, that was a really fun show. It was kind of, the local politicians, that was growing a little bit old.
Oh, yeah.
There was definitely some yawns over here when we had, different candidates, but not all of them, but some.
I think it's cool for different reasons, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's good information for the public.
I guess.
It is, yeah, because, one of the things we're going to talk about today, which is kind of what's up everyone's craw, is property taxes.
Property taxes.
Yeah.
What's it doing? It's like we're seeing more for sale signs go up quick.
Right.
Clublands, where you live, Sly, we've seen dozens of new houses go up on the market.
Yeah, and we've seen on the community Facebook pages and different people are just saying that we can't afford it. It's unaffordable. We thought the taxes were going to be X, and now they come out and they're Y, especially with some of the new builds, and it's just really becoming unaffordable for a lot of folks.
Yeah, especially those that are a lot younger that really want to have that dream of having their first home and they can't do it, because it's just so hard.
Yep.
Yeah, do you remember when you bought your first house?
I do.
And do you mind saying how long ago was that?
Ooh, okay, you really want to know.
No, you know what? I don't. No, absolutely. But I'm going to talk about, so when we bought our first house, we're talking about it was 30 to 40% of the values today.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, how can it sustain this long?
Sure. Just
going up and up and up. And, new reports out, we're seeing some slowdowns in New York. We're seeing slowdowns globally, London, Tokyo, L.A.
Florida for sure.
Florida for sure.
Yeah.
And you know what happens when cities slow down? Suburbs get even more filled with buyers who need to buy because they move out of the cities to go where they can still afford.
Right.
But the property taxes are like, you like it up here, huh? Well, take a look at your tax bill.
Right.
Yeah.
Who can keep doing that?
Yeah, no, they do. And it's a real shocker to us when you kind of look at it going, okay, wait, is this real? Was this a scam?
Did you get sticker shock when you opened
April
up?
Fools.
Right. I know I had sticker shock. We were up about 20%.
Yeah, same.
Almost 20%.
Yeah, and in the Clublands, the other thing that we have going on is there is pending. Well, I guess they didn't say. They said it wasn't going to, but the clubhouse and pool are on the tail end of being done, and I think some homeowners are fearing that down the road there will be increased assessments.
Sure.
It was already increased to cover the cost of the finishing the pool and clubhouse project, but is it going to continue to increase? They're saying no right now, but who knows down the road. So I think people are just really, after getting a 20% increase in their property taxes plus the pending, possible down the road increases in assessments, I think people are just, and they're cashing out. I mean, let's face it, you sell at the top, you're sitting pretty, right?
Right.
So, there's that too, where it's like,
is that a prediction?
Is
this the top?
I can't predict, but I mean, it is higher than it has been in my lifetime. So, yeah, I mean, you got to look at that too.
But there's also scarcity, right? That's how capitalism works.
Yeah.
When there's a demand for something and not enough supply, the prices go up.
The golden handcuff. We are still crippled by everybody getting those 2% and 3% rates. In 2021 and 2022, those people aren't going anywhere. They're simply holding on to their mortgages as long as possible, and, foregoing that next move in a lot of cases to, save money.
What's funny is it's not just regular people too. Like I was in the middle of a deal right now, and I was talking to the agent on the buy side, and literally the agent himself was like, "Yeah, I've got this house that my family has outgrown, but we've got a 2% interest rate, and we're not going to give it up either."
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of that.
But anecdotally, we're seeing also some of that. Okay, we've waited enough.
Yes.
We now have to move on with our life.
Right.
We can't be a slave to our house for the rest of our existence.
Yeah, there is a
seeing
certain
that
level
too.
of acceptance that I've definitely experienced.
But it's like it's got to be bad though. Like you got to really, really need the extra space or really hate your neighbors or whatever to, if it's just like, oh, we might need a little more space. We would like an extra bedroom, but we don't really need it. Those people are staying put.
I'm starting to see more of that, though. Yeah,
Okay. All right.
absolutely, I am.
We are too. And case in point, sitting in this studio.
Yeah, myself included,
true.
actually, where I'm like, I just need some more space. Yeah.
And we're also starting to see the move downs.
Yeah.
The people are like, you know what? We don't need the space anymore. Kids have been gone for forever, and we just don't want to be paying $12,000.
Yeah.
So the move downs.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, where's a comfortable spot where we can settle, where we can move down? And because the high is as high as it is, they're in a really good position because they're almost all equity.
Right.
And they're buying into their next forever home without having to worry about, a mortgage payment.
Right.
But they are worried about taxes.
Right.
Because the taxes just keep going up.
Yep.
We got to bring in another tax attorney to talk about that, property tax attorney, to kind of talk about what are the options. Yeah, if you're a senior, there's senior discount.
Right.
It's not much. It only equates to about $800-900 a year.
Right.
You get that exemption. They say it's a $6,000 exemption. That's new this year. It used to be $5,000.
I thought it was 8,000.
No, that's the homeowner.
Yeah,
the
I thought the
homestead is
senior one is
8,000.
two
The senior one is 6, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We'll look at.
We'll look into it. We'll see who's right. We'll see who's wrong.
Okay.
To the death.
Yes.
To the, what do they call it? To the pain.
Yeah.
The Sly's already looking it up.
He's got the advantage. You know how many times, listeners, Sly sounds really smart? He's sitting in front of a computer with Google, and then he uses ChatGPT.
Sly's whole brain is Google. I don't know what you're talking about.
The senior homestead exemption for Lake County, Illinois.
He sounds way too excited. I already know he's about to be right.
It's 8,000.
It's 8?
Yeah. I just looked up tax bill this morning for a client that was buying one that isn't a senior, that we have to back it out and charge them the higher tax for qualification.
It's the same as the homestead?
Correct.
Oh, it used to be, what it used to be, 6 and 5?
Correct. Yep.
Oh, okay. So damn it.
See, and Dick came in with I used to be right.
Yeah.
So like I'm only technically wrong because I mean, if you had a time machine, I'd be right.
Right.
That's the challenge of aging in real estate when everything changes so quickly. How do you keep up? It's like being an IT nerd in 2000. It's like you can't keep up with it. It changes every minute. But okay, so you've got an $8,000 exemption, but that $8,000 exemption is not $8,000.
No.
It's $8,000 removed from the formula when they calculate your tax bill.
Right.
So if your tax rate's 10.5%, you take that $8,000, 10.5% of that's going to be about $8,500.
Yep.
So that's, I'm sorry, $850. Ha! You said yes. You were wrong.
Well, I knew what you meant.
Yep.
I knew what you meant. It's $850 on the actual bill.
Correct. Yeah. But then we've got the senior freeze.
Yep.
Which is harder to qualify for. I don't want to throw out numbers now. I'm gun shy. Sly's going to fact check me on the spot. I don't care. I'm just kidding. I want everyone knowing the right info. I believe the income limit to get the senior freeze, I believe, is $62,000. Household income.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah?
I used to do real estate. I used to work for Baird and Warner.
Oh.
And I remember a lot of that stuff. And when I had lost my father, my mom, we actually got her that. And it helped her out so much because she was on a fixed income. And when we worked that out with her, it was great. But I know a lot of it's changed, over the years. But it does. It helps the seniors a lot. And some of them don't even know about it.
Oh, so many don't know about it. Right. And so many don't qualify for it.
Yeah,
right.
It's 65,000 is the cutoff.
65,000.
65 years old now.
65 years old with 65,000 cutoff.
Yep.
I think it used to be like 55 years ago, and they changed that.
I remember when it was 62, I thought, and it was 60,000. But now they've increased it to 65.
And the problem with the freeze, though, it doesn't help the seniors today.
Right.
It helps them moving forward. It just locks in, doesn't even lock in their tax bill. It locks in the value of their house to the day they qualified.
Right.
So if your house is worth $250,000 today and you have the senior freeze, you have to qualify every year because you can't have, and if you have a good year in the stock market collecting some of your retirement funds, you will lose your qualifications, and it resets.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you qualify again, you're now at the higher rate. So it basically just freezes your value of your house for the purposes of the calculation. It doesn't actually freeze your tax bill. So when you vote for a referendum for like a new library or a new school or another $150 million to build a puddle, that will cost you more, even though you're on the freeze.
Right.
A lot of seniors don't know that either. Like, oh, I could vote for that. Sure, of course I want a new
frozen.
library.
I'm good.
I'm frozen. But no, that will increase your tax
that
bill.
does change it. It changes a lot.
Okay, a lot going on in the news lately.
Yeah.
I can't wait to talk to you, Sly, on what's going on in the mortgage world.
Yeah.
Very curious to hear. We're just seeing, I know anecdotally, Kristen, you know, you're seeing it too. It's every weekend we're going out there with 3, 4, 5 listings, and 3 to 4 of them are getting sold like this.
Instantly.
Right.
And then there's one that doesn't.
And you're like, what is the difference?
Yeah. Makes no sense, right?
Right. It makes no sense. Some of them you're competing against 20 people, and others you're like, you could have gotten in there 20,000 under asking. Seller might have said yes.
Sure. No rhyme or reason, right? Like you guys aren't seeing it with the houses that need a little bit. That's what I was seeing with the houses that need a little bit more work. I was seeing contracts that like were coming in under the list price, maybe.
Yeah.
Whereas the ones that are like done, like are.
I don't want to talk specifics because we're in contract on some houses, right?
Yeah.
But I'll just some vague examples.
Yeah.
A range of 5 different properties, all varying in condition, all varying in price. Surprisingly, houses that needed work were selling over ask, and houses that were priced at market or slightly higher were either not coming in or coming in below.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the houses that it looks like some buyers, and this is anecdotally. We haven't had a big powwow with everyone to see what their experiences everywhere, but anecdotally, it looks like buyers are like, we need a house. We can't afford what we want, so we're getting something that needs it, and we're going to deal with what we have to deal with.
Okay. Interesting you say that because I've started getting calls about renovation loans.
Yeah.
Which we never, in the last
one of my
couple
clients,
years,
I think, called you about
yeah,
that.
and I'm like, well, yeah, that's definitely an option. We could go over the options, and 9 out of 10 times, it's really hard to actually get a renovation loan, not for qualification purposes, but because the house has to appraise for the finished product, and right now there's not a lot of screaming deals. There's not a lot of homes where you have $100,000 built in equity and all it needs is cosmetics. So there's just not that right now. And then you're competing also a lot with cash buyers, investors, flippers that are going to
overpaying for those homes.
Oh, yeah, they're going to scoop up those properties. Whereas me, I'm trying to go in and I got to hire a contractor. If I'm doing a renovation loan, they don't let you do the work, and that drives up the cost of the renovation. So it's like there's just not enough built-in equity right now. So, yeah, but it's funny you mentioned that because I have gotten those calls where it's like, yeah, we want to talk about the FHA 203K product or the Fannie Mae home style renovation. And it's interesting. We haven't had calls about that for a long time.
And it's important for the buyers to know that sellers don't like those deals when they see a 203K come in.
Yeah. Because
there's so much unknown. There's so many variables.
Right.
The appraisal, how much is it going to cost to get in? Will they approve at the higher amount?
Right.
And is the buyer coming in wanting to replace, like, in addition to the carpets and maybe some cosmetics? Are they replacing countertops? Are they replacing fridges, washing machines, and trying to tie that all in, which could put it out of, like you said, you could put it out of the appraisal.
Right.
But we're starting to see appraisals come in like almost completely at value and above.
Yeah.
I've seen the number of appraisals I've seen come in under asking price is almost alarmingly low.
So I will say this week we did have one that came in low, but it was still
just out to prove you wrong today.
It was
it's okay.
It was still $30,000 over the list price.
Oh, geez.
So our client, to win the bid, had to go so high above the list price that they exceeded the absolute max that the appraisal could do. Right. So it was like, so it was still $30K over list what the appraisal came in at, but it wasn't quite enough to get them, whole. So, in that situation, they either have to
cash
come
out,
up.
right?
Yeah, they have to come up with extra or whatever.
And if buyers are, in there with kind of high down payment loans, that's an easy, it's an easy move.
Right.
Just convert some of that down payment to appraisal gap.
Yep.
And everyone's fine. Everyone moves on.
Yeah. But but besides that, you're right. They aren't appraisals. We are not having the appraisal issues that I would have. When the prices continually go up at some point, you figure that the appraisers are going to be like, no, but we haven't seen that yet.
Yep. Okay, so we are going to have our first Market Minute in a couple minutes. And because there's some interesting data on there, because what Christin and I are seeing anecdotally, I don't think is necessarily relaying across the field evenly. So we're going to get into that a little bit now and talk about what's happening here locally in our real estate market.
Stay on top of the market with Dick Barr's Market Minute.
Dick Barr's Market Minute.
That sounded terrible.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Was that happening on your phones? I might have an issue with the sound there. Anyway, this is Dick Barr, your host of Unlocking Lake County, here with this week's Market Minute for Northwest Lake County. Antioch had a nice week with over $5 million in sales, the most they've seen in quite a while, about half, 50% more than it was last week. They're sitting on only a 1-month supply of inventory. Market time's only 15.9 days, but we haven't seen this in Antioch in a long time, sitting on 50 active listings.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah, new listings 12 this week, contracts 11. So they're the new listing kind of pairing with the new contracts. They only closed 10, the year-over-year increase in median value is 10%. So the range in values from Antioch is $225,000 to $1.3 million. That's a big range. It's always the widest range in Antioch.
Yeah.
You have shacks.
Lakefront. Yeah.
And you have lakefront.
Waterfront.
Beautiful. Exactly.
And they're next door to each other.
Yep.
Exactly.
Or across the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's usually kind of charming. A lot of people like that.
yeah.
They come up to
Yeah.
the chain where Al Capone lived and kind of fought on the wild chains. And we've made up some stories that people believed about that. Some haunted locations. Now on over to Volo, Fox Lake, and Ingleside, where they also respectable $4 million in sales last week. Range in property sales $125,000 to $585,000. Big difference from Antioch.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, year-over-year increase on that is 8%. So still, value's up 8% this year. Market time average 17 days. Again, 2.5 weeks, and you're sold. But again, they're sitting on a higher inventory than normal. 18 active listings. Only 9 new listings, but 12 new contracts. So, new contracts are outweighing the new listings, which is helping them in Volo. You see they're building a lot there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are.
They're building a ton.
Yep.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, and it's interesting. You got all that land. That's a massive amount of land there, kind of north of, what is that, the YMCA or the YWCA camp on 12. All of that land still, yet to be developed. So tons of opportunities out there.
For sure.
And the prices aren't terrible.
Right.
No, not
new
at all.
construction.
Very affordable.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful prices.
Yep. Now on over to Grays Lake and Wildwood area. Again, over $5 million in sales this week. Week over week increase only 20%, though only a 1.1 month supply of inventory. Range in property sales this week is $215,000, $850,000. Average market time 10 days.
Oh, that's good for us.
Yeah. Are you guys in Grays Lake?
Yeah, we're in the Grays Lake area.
It's only good if you're selling.
Oh,
If you're
yeah.
paying property taxes, it's not good.
Not good.
Yeah,
Terrible.
we'd like to not pay those property taxes if that's okay.
When you find out how, please let me know.
Yeah, I will.
I do know of one sure way. Move to
died.
Florida.
Oh.
Well, we were thinking about Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cheaper. But I hear they're starting to creep up.
Oh, yes, they are.
Yeah, with the influx of new people, they need schools, they need
Oh, yes,
libraries.
they do.
So they're starting
And
to
they're
build.
really short on that. So,
Yep.
yeah.
You have a southern accent. You from Tennessee?
No, I'm not.
No, okay.
I grew up in Kentucky, so it's
okay.
pretty cool.
Okay. Back to Grays Lake, where market time we said is 10 days. Active listings, again, high for the area, 31 this week. New listings, 10. New contracts, again, over the new listings, which is 12. Closed listings, 6. Now on over to the Gurnee, Wadsworth area, where they had a more modest $3.3 million in sales this past week. 100% increase over last week, though. So about $1.5 million last week. Month and a half supply of inventory. Property value range from $169,000 to $525,000. It's kind of low for Gurnee.
Yeah.
So probably some of the higher priced properties didn't sell. Maybe some of the more unincorporated stuff starting to move. Average market time is 3 weeks. And 30 active listings. Do you remember when Gurnee was 3 active listings?
Yeah.
It's like a year ago.
Yeah,
We're like, give us your
seriously.
homes. Come on.
Yeah, nothing. But now some options out there. And what that means is, as you know, when we talk about active listings 30, 50, it's important for everyone to understand that the reasons prices are still going up so much is because there's been no inventory. But now buyers have options. And you'll notice buyers be not so quick to pull that trigger to go into contract. And if they find something's wrong with the house during inspection, much more likely to cut and run.
Right.
So kind of important to get the house ready more so than it has been for the past several weeks or months. Gurney's got 30 active listings, 8 new listings this week, 10 new contracts, 7 closed listings. Again, more contracts than new listings. That's a good sign. It's probably going to keep prices propped up. Well, I say good sign. It's a good sign for the sellers.
Right.
Bad sign for the buyers because it's going to keep prices propped up. Now on over to Lindenhurst and Lake Villa, our backyard, where 4.99 million in sales. See, if we just tried a little bit harder, we could have made the 5, made the records. Just under a month's supply of inventory at 0.93. Property value range 100,000 to 649,000. Average market time is 18 days. Active listings again high at 27. New listings 13. New contracts 6.
Oh.
So contracts here lower than the new listings. So that's going to start piling up on some new inventory, more inventory. 7 closed listings in the past week. Now finishing up with our largest population in the Round Lake area, only 3.5 million in sales this past week, but only a 0.6 month supply of inventory.
Yep.
Property value range from 174,000 to 450,000. 15 days is the market time average. 26 active listings. 13 new listings, 10 new contracts, and 12 closed listings. Now, that's the data. What do you guys see in real life?
Well,
I know you've been running around like a chicken that never had a head.
I know. So Anne-Marie Pride is listening right now, and she was commenting on when you said I hadn't been here in a while, and she said, because she's been busy selling houses.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's busy out there. I mean, it's like we were talking about at the beginning of the show. We've got this certain level of acceptance that sellers have now where they're like, I got to sell. It's time for us to move on to our next thing. If it means we have to accept these new interest rates, like it is what it is. Hopefully it goes down and we can refinance one day.
Right.
The buyers that I'm working with, like you've been saying, they have been, I'm going to say more selective, less willing in my experience actually to move into something that needs a little bit of work just because they don't necessarily have that additional cash to do the extra work. So they are looking for stuff that's a little bit more move-in ready. And they're finding it though. There is a little bit more available. So they are aware of the fact that they have more options. I'm seeing less of, oh my God, we have to jump on this right now. And more, well, let's just see what else is out there. I feel like we maybe can do better than that. And to be honest with you, as their agent, I'm like, I actually, for once, agree. I do think maybe we can do better than the one that we're, I think there are actually some options. Whereas a couple weeks ago, even, I would have been like, I'm not sure there are a lot of, like, maybe we should move in on this one.
Yeah.
So things are still chugging along.
I'll sleep on it, which is becoming more prevalent in recent weeks. You're finally starting to say, okay, yeah, you can.
Yeah.
But when I'll sleep on it, okay, you'll sleep on it, and it won't be here tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right.
Sleep on it, it'll be there in the morning. Although a couple times we got a little too loose, and we did lose it to someone else who just swooped in and picked it up. So that is still happening, of course.
But also, in the past week, I have 4 contracts that canceled because of inspection issues.
Wow.
We weren't seeing that at all. People were just taking it, and 2 of them were pretty major, foundation stuff, which I get, and the sellers aren't willing to hire the structural engineer to come out and say it's good to go,
Well, those 2 words we call those the deal killer words, right? There's
Absolutely.
2 words that'll kill a deal anywhere,
right?
And that's structural engineer, because no one's paying for it, and 9 times out of 10, it's not really warranted,
right? So but over the last couple of years, we haven't seen a lot of people drop out on home inspections. Okay, yeah, we get it. It needs minor this, minor that, but 4 in 1 week is, it's been crazy, where we just cancel and the people are out looking for different homes. So we're seeing
I've experienced a handful of the things we've talked about, but they're all on active contracts that I'm dealing with. So I'm I'm just going to hold my tongue and wait until everything's closed up. There's so many things I want to comment on, but I just can't do it yet.
4 to 6 weeks.
Exactly.
That's why we're,
Stay tuned, folks.
Yep.
Right, so we should be talking about the crazy deals from February right now. What were the crazy deals in February?
I don't remember yesterday, let alone.
Dick, it's funny actually. Just the other day, I was telling a client the story. Speaking of February, so last year in February, do you remember? It was snowing all over the place, and then we had that big rain all of a sudden.
Oh, melted like crazy.
And I was telling the story of when we had a sale that we had that on the day of closing, the basement flooded.
Yeah.
And I was telling the story because, people are always like, oh, what do realtors even do, right? Dick and I were literally in the backyard, soaked up to our knees. We looked around to see what we could even find. There was a garden bucket that was left behind, and I don't even remember. And we were just scooping this water away from the house, trying to keep it from continuing to flood. And I'm just sitting there laughing to myself, like we're somehow freezing and sweaty.
Right.
Like, realtors don't even do anything.
Yeah.
What's funny? You got to do what you got to do. And do you remember? That didn't just happen once that week.
No, yeah.
2 clients.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Had some pumps die because of, and at the same time of the massive amount of water was coming in. A couple of years ago, and I remember telling this story, and you said years ago you heard me tell this story.
I watched it on your Facebook Live. I know exactly where you're going with this.
I went Facebook Live because the power went out, and in the middle of February, this was like 2 years ago, in Country Walk, and the sellers had already moved out. And we closed the next day, and I had to do everything I could. So I drove there. I ran like jumper cables from my car battery to some sort of like power source, so we could have the sump pump start moving until someone finally showed up with a generator, and that works. But at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, just trying to keep that house dry.
Amazing.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, good. We didn't die. Our first half hour is just about off. We're going to take a break. We'll be back just a few minutes with more from Kate Russell and Sly's Mortgage Minute. Take care. We'll be back.
Unlocking Lake County with Dick Barr will return in just a few moments after these important messages. Don't touch that dial.
You're listening to Unlocking Lake County with Dick Barr.
Your favorite show right here on 98.3 FM.
98.3, The Life.
It's time for the weather.
This weather update is brought to you by Fidelity National Title Insurance Company. It's a bit of a mixed bag this afternoon with partly sunny skies keeping us company as temperatures tiptoe down to the upper 50s. Hold on to your hat, though. Northeast winds are playing tag at 15 miles per hour and can gust up to 25. Tonight, things cloud over with lows dancing around the 40s. Winds picking up speed with gusts reaching a breezy 40 miles per hour. Tomorrow, a return to sunny skies with highs peaking into the upper 50s.
Unlocking Lake County.
98.3, The Life.
Hello, it's time for Unlocking This Day in History. Brought to you by Harder and Shotland Law Firm in Round Lake Beach. Let's take a quick trip back in time to what happened today in history. First stop, May 7th, 1832. Greece is reborn as the Treaty of London is signed, declaring Greece an independent nation. That's right, Zeus and the gang are throwing a toga party, inviting everyone to teleport to newly liberated Olympus. Fast forward to May 7th, 1945. It's V-Day, when World War II allies formally accepted the unconditional surrender of Nazi Germany. You could almost hear the collective sigh of relief echo across the planet, from the dome of St. Paul's Cathedral to the Statue of Liberty in the good old New York Harbor. Wrapping it up with the futuristic sound of Y2K, it's May 7th, 2000. President Bill Clinton announced that accurate GPS access would no longer be restricted to the United States military. So all of a sudden, road trips of the future receive a technological boost, and people everywhere are now equally able to be lost with real-time updates. And there you have it, May 7th through the ages. A journey from Greek galas to smart tech travels. We will catch you next time.
You're listening to Unlocking Lake County with Dick Barr.
Here's the top stories in real estate today. First up, according to a report from a major real estate agency, the Chicagoland housing market is seeing a notable shift. Inventory levels have seen a slight increase, providing some relief to prospective buyers. However, the demand remains strong, keeping home prices steady and competitive. This growing inventory might be an attractive incentive for those considering entering the market before the end of the year. Next, in Cook County, a recent policy update could impact residential property assessments. The Cook County Assessor's Office announced a revised method for determining property values, aiming to make the process more transparent and equitable. This change is expected to affect property tax bills starting next year, and homeowners are encouraged to review their latest assessments to understand these potential impacts. Over in Lake County, a zoning change has been approved.
This is Unlocking Lake County with Dick Barr.
Have you ever heard of wayward alligators basking in the suburban sun of Lake County, Illinois? It sounds like the plot twist of a quirky sitcom. But back in July 2015, reality was indeed stranger than fiction. A scaly new resident caused quite the commotion when it was spotted in Lake Michigan near the town of Waukegan. Yep, an alligator, right here in Lake County. Now, how does an alligator end up in Lake Michigan, you ask? Well, wildlife officials believe it was most likely someone's pet that had grown too big for their backyard and was set free. But whether it was a little too much Hollywood pondering or just a pet owner's oversight, our cold-blooded visitor brought a tropical touch to Illinois' summer scene. People usually head to the lake for a leisurely swim or to soak in the tranquility of the waves, not to encounter creatures from the swamps of Florida. Talk about a fish out of water, or rather an alligator in unfamiliar waters. For those sunbathers and kayakers who stumbled upon this unusual beast, it was a day at the beach they won't forget anytime soon. The alligator was about 4 feet long and was still in juvenile stages, making it less menacing, more inadvertently hilarious as it mingled with the usual lakegoers. Officers from the local animal control were quick to capture the reptile, and thankfully, no sunbathers were harmed in this tale of lake adventure. So, whether it's curious alligators, elusive lake monsters, or the legendary Bigfoot sightings, Lake County never ceases to amaze us with its peculiar tales. Brought to you by the Sly Marinca team at Cross Country Mortgage. Sly and his team can be reached at 847-722-1775. Stay curious, Lake County. Until next time, keep an eye out for the wonderfully weird that's lurking in your backyard.
Welcome back to Unlocking Lake County with your host, Dick Barr.
Okay, here we are. We're back. Dick Barr, your host of Unlocking Lake County, here with my beautiful co-host, Christin Kaufman.
Hello, hello.
And, of course, back with us is Sly Marinca.
Hello, hello.
And you stayed, so I guess we didn't scare you away.
No.
We've got Kate Russell from According to Kate.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
It's awesome having you in here. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Is it possible? I know we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, because we're going to go into Sly's Mortgage Minute. But I don't know. Anyone use a song? Can anyone use a song?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Absolutely.
I'd like one. Here, help me out, Sly. Can you turn the camera so it flips around to Kate?
Yes.
And then we're going to. Are we putting you on the spot?
Yeah, but that's okay.
Perfect. You're a performer, right? You're used to that. Wait, what? Oh, you put your camera on her. Okay, that's fine.
I got a face built for radio, so I don't need it.
Yeah, me
Yes,
too.
you do.
I should have put my camera on her. That makes the most
The
sense.
Facebook Live is showing that we're still in commercial.
No, it's like a minute delay.
Oh, okay. Just kidding.
Yeah.
It's been a minute. Okay, I forgot.
Let me see. Let me center up that camera. See if I. Oh, yep. There we go. I think that's better. So this is Kate Russell from According to Kate. Kate, you're a performer, singer-songwriter.
Yes.
And you've got a couple of originals.
Yes, I do.
And so, what are you going to sing first? You're going to do an original. Or you're going to do a cover.
First thing I'll do originals for you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I wrote a song called "So It Goes" for my amazing husband. We've only been married for 6 years.
Congratulations.
And it's called "So It Goes." We went down to Nashville and had it recorded, probably, I think, a few months ago. And we finally got everything back. So now we're ready to go. It's my third release on iTunes. We've got it on different platforms. So I hope you guys will take a listen and enjoy it. And let me know what you think.
We certainly will. Okay, you're good.
I get lost in those blue eyes every time you look my way, and I feel I can't do anything 'cause you inspire me in every way. So it goes, you stole my heart completely, and I know I can never turn away. so close to me, hear your heart beating next to mine. Loving you is so easy, cherishing moments passing time. So it goes, you stole my heart completely, and I know I can never turn away. You're the one I want to be with. I'm so proud to be your wife. You're my rock and my best friend. Bring out the best in me every time. So it goes, you stole my heart completely, and I know I can never turn away from you.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I can never turn away. I thank God for you every
Wow.
Bravo. Well done.
That was awesome.
Whoa.
Wow, what a spirit.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to bring those headphones down and let that pop in me here. There we go. Can you see there? It's okay? I can't hear anymore.
Yeah. That was
It's
good.
kind of like the sunlight walking into a dark room. I can't hear now. That was gorgeous.
Thank you so
Beautiful.
much.
Wow.
Well done.
Thank
Very
And you
well
wrote
done.
that?
I did, yeah. I was in my kitchen and I grabbed my guitar and something just came into my head and I just started strumming and thinking, oh, this is pretty good. And then I grabbed a piece of paper and my dogs thought I was crazy. Like, what are you doing? So I'm writing it in my kitchen. It was pretty great.
who did the backup band?
So I went down to Nashville, and I'm now working with Red Ridge Entertainment.
Okay.
And my producer, he's amazing, Gary Sadker. I hope you're listening. Hi. I miss you very much. I can't wait to see you in Nashville. He came and they put the music together, and we had a bunch of amazing studio musicians, and you know, these guys, they're just so talented. They
Yeah, you
just
could hear it.
really are talented.
Yeah.
Never heard my song. They use a Nashville number system, and to me it looked like Chinese, but I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? So, you know, they just had a piece of paper. They went in one room, I went in the other, and I'm like, oh my goodness, they're playing my song. And it was just amazing.
That's cool.
Yeah,
so
it was
awesome.
amazing.
Did they do the orchestration of it? They did the arrangement?
Gary did the most of it. I mean,
Okay.
I sent him what it was that I was doing, and he kind of got the gist of it all. So he just wrote it down, and I said, I have to have pedal steel, I have to have this, I have to have that, and he came through.
Wow.
It was so amazing.
That was awesome. Well, that was gorgeous, beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What a way. That was the best introduction, Sly, you've ever had.
I have to go after that.
You have to go after that, yes.
What?
So now you have to give us good news.
Everyone's gonna fall asleep
And you have
compared
to,
to.
you have to
that.
sing
Go
it.
sing
by the
that.
way.
Okay.
Pull your camera back so we can get you on there.
You know, I could
Sorry.
use, backup vocals, so let me hear you sing.
Oh yeah. You don't want to hear that, my friend.
Okay, so let's see. Here we go. Okay, here's Sly.
Here is the Mortgage Minute with Sly Marinca and Cross Country Mortgage on Unlocking Lake County with Dick Barr.
All right, everybody. Welcome back, and we'll just dive right into it. So the current 30-year fixed average national interest mortgage rate is 6.88%.
Respectable.
Yep, slightly down from the high of 7.07% we saw at the beginning of April. The current 10-year Treasury yield is also down a little bit to 4.287%. One thing we have not talked about yet today is Fed Decision Day. The Federal Reserve is currently meeting right now and will be announcing what they plan on doing with interest rates. The expectation is 3% of a rate cut today. However, what they talk about going forward, I'm currently looking at the charts, and going forward, rates are expected to come down. We've talked about it before, but this whole thing with the tariffs and the trade wars, the markets are digesting, and they don't know how that's going to affect inflation. Remember, the reason the Fed had to raise rates was because inflation was rampant and out of control. That has started coming down nicely, but now this throws a kink into things where, like we'll see, for instance, in March, remember the inflation number came down to a seasonally adjusted 2.4%. That was the lowest we'd seen in almost 2 years. Yeah. But now in April, what we're seeing is a lot of people are trying to get ahead of the tariffs, so they're making large purchases. I don't know if you saw that, but car purchases were up 5.3% unexpectedly last month. So that may tick inflation up just a little bit. But one of the interesting things is gasoline. Oil is down to 58 as of when we started. Oil was down to $58.55 a barrel. That's down 19% from a year ago. So everything we get needs fuel to get here, right? So our food comes on a truck, everything comes, transported here. So I think that's going to play a huge role into continually bringing inflation down. I would not want to be Chairman Jerome Powell today. I wouldn't want to be him any day, but especially today because he's in a really tough spot. The Fed chair, the Trump administration has publicly said that they really want him to cut rates to boost economic activity and avoid a potential recession, but there's major uncertainty there with the trade wars and tariffs. We're just kind of in uncharted territory. So I don't think they're going to cut rates today, but I do see, later on this year, especially the second half of the year, it's looking like it's going to go that way. Last month's job report that was released on May 2nd, the Bureau of Labor and Statistics reported that 177,000 new jobs were created in April. That beat expectations by a ton. But even more interesting, that was at the time where the federal workforce declined by 9,000 employees. So you got to remember, we had so many federal workers being hired that really ramped up the jobs numbers we've seen for the last couple of years. And jobs are still hanging in there. So the economy is showing unbelievable resilience and stability, especially in the job market. So it's going to be interesting to keep an eye on things as they progress.
Now, we saw, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we saw our first quarter with a
negative GDP
growth. Negative GDP, but it was slight. It was like 0.3 minus 0.3. It was
much less than it was projected to be by the Atlanta Fed. I remember we talked about it on the show a few times where, they were projecting, the economy to just go into the toilet, but that hasn't happened, remarkably. So, even like, we were here the day when the stock market was,
roller coastering.
It was like, we started,
2,500
it was a
4,000
point swing between the time we started and the time we ended. It was way down, then it shot back up. Yeah. And all of those losses have just about been, most of the losses have been, regained. So, again, markets look for stability, right? And if they know what the rules are, they're going to play within those rules. But when you add tariffs and you add uncertainty, how is China going to react? How is the European Union going to react to these reciprocal trade, tariffs? It's uncertainty. And I think that's why the markets have been, kind of wishy-washy all over the place. Fingers crossed rates come down this year. I think that would really, really help spur economic activity, especially with real estate. We still have people that I think are sitting on the fence, not as much, but are sitting on the fence because of the higher rates, and they just don't want to make that move and get rid of their uber low interest rate to a high rate. So
now this wouldn't be the first time real estate bailed out the economy, right?
Oh, yeah.
The real estate bailed out the economy in 2000.
It normally does.
Yeah. And, one of our listings that we went live with this weekend, we had 56 showings.
Yeah, that's insane.
Tell me the economy's bad.
Right.
When 56 individual potential buyers are shopping for a house, a single house. And we had very little overlap. I think we did 5 new listings this week, Kristen?
Yeah, 5.
5. Very little overlap between the 5. So it was like 56 there, and it was like 25 in another one. One of them was a little bit light, but mostly in big numbers. We're talking about 400,000 plus homes getting significant amount of showings. Even with the high taxes. So sometimes when I watch the news, I get a little angry because it sounds like they're trying to hyperbolize an issue that, hey, if you just live and survive and do your daily, I think everything's going to be fine.
Right. And I mean, look at, the record inflation we saw, over the last, and still we see inflation. I mean, people have adjusted their spending. They have cut where they've needed to make cuts. And I mean, we're not seeing foreclosures, a ton of foreclosures. We're not seeing people, do short sales. It does speak to how resilient our economy is and, the changes consumers have made. I do feel bad, though, for the first-time home buyers that are getting in. Like, if I sell my house, I'm going to sell at the top, but I'm also buying at the top. I feel bad for the people that don't have something to sell that are kind of buying where, it's...
But the difference is you're going in with equity.
Yeah.
As opposed to like when we bought, the last time we bought was in 2005.
Same.
We didn't buy with equity.
Right.
We went in at kind of full value, high loan to value ratios.
Right.
And when the foreclosure catastrophe hit us, we were destroyed.
Right.
But we didn't sell, so we weren't.
Same
but
here.
we were upside down $70,000, $80,000 for a long time.
Right.
And then just after COVID, it finally started getting to the point where we lost about 15 years.
Yep.
But even if you're going in at the high end of the market, you're going in with equity, a ton of it, because you're using a lot of the equity from your previous home. Most people, if you're smart, you're going to do that.
Right.
And then if market falters,
you'll
be
fine.
okay.
Right, but I'm saying for the first-time home buyer that doesn't have
first-time home buyer.
That's who I feel bad for, because it's like, we can weather that. If I sell my house at the top, I buy a different house at the top. You're right. I have a lot of equity that I cashed in, and but for that first-time home buyer that doesn't have an asset to sell, they're coming in with their savings, and if the market that person is who I would feel bad for if things did go south a little bit. I don't foresee that. Again, you asked, typically in recessions, housing is what brings you out of a recession.
Right.
Because let's face it, when you buy a house, you buy furniture, you buy appliances.
Hopefully after closing.
Please, right? You buy a bunch of stuff, and that spurs economic activity.
Yeah.
Especially if we eventually start seeing more things manufactured here, which I think is the whole goal of all these crazy tariffs, right? Is we get so caught up in the politics of it all. We should want things to be made here with people that live here, that work here, that get paid here. All of that spurs economic activity, which helps us all. We should all want that. Anyways,
I want to go to, in just 1 second, I want to go to, so be prepared, Kristen. I don't want, because a lot of times I'll throw something on you like, okay, answer this. I want you to be prepared for this one. Because you're of the generation that Sly's talking about, right? You're that younger generation coming in, you're getting your ground, you're starting to build your foundation, and then getting into this real estate market. And you happen to be personally involved in it right now, too.
Yeah.
Besides just as a realtor, but also as a consumer.
Yeah.
But you know what I've seen a lot on some of these TikToks is a lot of people complaining about their Temu stuff is too expensive now. And I'm sorry. I'd rather have a strong American economy than cheap access to crap.
Very much so. And when you get a lot of stuff from overseas, and it's really bad.
Yeah.
You just can't. It's better to have it here and have a really good quality product rather than spending all this money and you're like, oh boy, it just broke. What do I do now?
Wouldn't you rather have less really good quality stuff than a lot of junk? My daughter, she's got she must have a personal contract with like UPS and DHL because every day they're dropping off more stuff from, I don't even know the names of the companies that but it's all garbage. It's crap.
Yeah. You think you're getting a good deal and you're really not.
Right. Now, I guess they like the variety because she rarely wears the same thing twice, and I think that's what they get out of it.
Right.
But they're literally buying throwaway disposable clothes or disposable features.
And it just doesn't last that long. You wash it once and you're like, okay, this isn't good.
But it costs next to nothing.
And it costs next to nothing.
I think that the American consumer wants to have that choice. Remember, we're less than 5% of the population, but we consume more than 25% of the goods produced internationally. So we are the customer. Like, we want people want choices. People want, and I think that's why, a lot of people don't like the tariffs, or the idea of the tariffs is that it is going to limit your choice.
Okay, Christin.
Yes.
Your perspective as what generation do you classify yourself as?
I am a full-blown millennial.
You're a millennial.
Millennial
Proud
through
of
and
it.
through.
Yeah.
Cringe as I am.
What's the millennial perspective on what's happening in the market right now?
Well, I'm definitely qualified to speak for everyone, so I'm an excellent person to ask.
Yes, good. Thank you. Thank you for the clarification.
Perspective on what? Get specific.
Coming into this, for decades, we saw millennials. We're not going to own.
Oh, millennials will never own a home.
Right. We're the what do they call it? The adventure. We want adventures.
They want
experience.
experiences.
We're the experience generation. We'll never have roots. We don't want mom and dad's or grandma and grandpa's junk. We don't want the old fancy furniture. We just want to be able to fly to Hawaii whenever we want. And that's.
I don't know that I agree with that. I think it was more of a perspective of, well, since I'm never going to be able to own X, Y, and Z, I might as well enjoy my money with this, this, and this. I don't think it was like I don't want it so much as like there was so much rhetoric around like millennials will never own homes, everything's completely unaffordable. And to be fair, we've talked about this on the show in the past, millennials have gone through a lot as far as just like on a global level of like things we've lived through in our developing, becoming adult years.
You got what? You got 9/11. You got the mortgage collapse 7 years later. Then you've got COVID. There's 3 majors. What else am I missing?
I don't even know, honestly, like off the top of my head. But yeah, major events, right? And so there's just been a lot of rhetoric around what we'll never be able to accomplish, what we can't do. Everything's so expensive. There's a big one about how millennials were all promised if you go to college, there's going to be these great jobs ready for you. And then there weren't. And so, you've got people with these degrees and huge overbearing student loan debt that are still working at Chili's. Just trying to get by. And so, I think that there was just this certain level of understanding or acceptance of like, all right, well, that's just not going to be me. Then I might as well do these other things and get my joy and my dopamine somewhere else, right?
Sure.
And I am seeing more and more millennials enter the housing market.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, they're more and more just accepting of, I mean,
they're also flush with cash.
Well, they've stabilized a bit more, Well, yeah.
Well, they make more than we did when we were that age.
Right.
They, a lot of them have lived at home and been able to save.
Right.
And
they've also just learned how to cope with their student loan debt, and so now they're just factoring it into their lives.
And they're not drinking alcohol. How much money did we waste on booze? Have you seen the latest statistics?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
Alcohol is like dropping off big time.
I think bars are in trouble long term.
I
was actually, that's so funny. I was just talking to my husband about that this morning. I was like, I would not personally invest in, if it was just a bar, I wouldn't invest in a bar. Like if there's got to be, like, nobody's going out to just drink anymore as the activity. Right? Like now it's like you got to do something in order for me to want to go to your facility, and I'll have a drink when I'm there. Not me personally, I don't really drink anymore, but people will have a drink when they're out and about, but you got to have a reason to get them to go to your place. Otherwise, like, they're not going to pay $10 for your drink anymore. And no one cares about craft beer anymore, I feel like.
And that changed, I think, a lot. It changed a lot in COVID. It might have been before that too, but COVID is when it kind of affected me. Where we don't go out with our friends as much to just go out.
Yeah, people got used to not going out anymore.
You guys probably perform in places where that's going to be an issue.
Yeah, it definitely does. If we don't get like a lot of people there, you can't have a band come out there and play for nothing, because
I think that's all the more reason why people like you are so important to the bar industry. Because like I said, you have to have a reason to bring somebody to your bar now. Going to a bar just for the sake of it doesn't cut it anymore, I think.
Right. Yeah. When you have a following and you start to have a following, you're bringing more people in, they're getting more business, they're making more money. And, it helps everybody all around.
Yeah.
You said something interesting.
Yes.
So we had someone else in the studio a few weeks ago, and they were actually bothered by the venues that look for a following.
Right.
I thought it made sense that a bar would be willing to hire and pay more for someone with a following to bring your crowd. When your crowd comes, do they drink?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a lot of drinkers. A lot of drinkers, And it's kind of nice, though, when we come in, we get people, and we bring them all, and, everyone's having a good time. Of course, they're going to drink more and more and more. But, sometimes people can't afford it, like you guys are talking about. People's got to cut back, I have
$9 a shot.
Yeah, and then the bands can't play, because they can't get paid enough money. So, everybody starts hurting all around. And I think, when bands start playing more and more, yes, we get more followers, more people start following us. Hey, we're going to be here. Hey, we're going to be there. And then, it's a full circle. More people coming into the restaurants, more people are going to pay for their drinks. More people are going to want to eat there, and it's sad that it's starting to kind of dwindle. It really is.
And that's kind of why we started this, because we just started putting out like all the local venues that have live acts, all of Northwest Lake County, Northeast McHenry, and then Southeast Wisconsin. And we thought this would be a good way to get some of the people who do perform locally in, to let more people hear them and hopefully get more people out to support these venues.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity for myself, and I really thank you for this.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. But and it's got to be full circle for there's a lot of great bands out there, and just to get the opportunity to be able to play at these places, we want to bring them business too. Everybody wants to do that.
Yeah,
of course. Sure. We're going to be right back after one more break, and then we'll be back with Nothing But Kate.
Oh, boy.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Unlocking Lake County with Dick Barr will return in just a few moments after these important messages. Don't touch that dial.
You're listening to Unlocking Lake County with Dick Barr.
Unlocking Lake County.
98.3, The Life.
It's the best station on the radio. It's time for the weather.
This weather update is brought to you by Fidelity National Title Insurance Company. Today we've got a bit of sunshine peeking out, but don't be fooled. The mercury drops down as the day goes on, and a lively wind from the northeast keeps us on our toes with gusts up to 25 miles per hour. Tonight, the cloud cover is paying us a friendly visit, bringing breezy conditions and those gusts ramping up to 40 miles per hour at times. And as for tomorrow, we're getting a sun-filled day while northeast winds remind you to hold on to your hat.
You're listening to Unlocking Lake County with Dick Barr.
You guys have a great radio station. You just play the best music.
Hello, it's time for Unlocking This Day in History. Brought to you by Harder & Shotland Law Firm in Round Lake Beach. Let's take a quick trip back in time to what happened. Today in history. All right, buckle up, because we're heading to May 7th, 1954. The world is buzzing with excitement as the French colonial rule in Vietnam comes to a dramatic end with the fall of Dien Bien Phu. I mean, who would have thought that such a crucial turning point in the First Indochina War would happen on this very day? Now, let's spin the dial forward to May 7th, 1977. Everyone is grooving to the debut of the song that would become a timeless anthem, Hotel California by the Eagles. Yes, that's right, folks. On this day, the track hit the top of the Billboard Hot 100 chart. So go ahead and check in anytime you like. Do you smell what 1998 is cooking? Because on May 7th, 1998, the beloved television sitcom Seinfeld aired its final episode. Viewers around the globe are still discussing whether Elaine's dance moves were spectacularly good or deliciously cringe. Fast forward to the 21st century, and we find ourselves on May 7th, 2010. The British political landscape is thrown into a bit of a kerfuffle as David Cameron becomes Prime Minister, ushering in a new era of coalition government and bringing us back to the present, well, almost. The 25-year mark from today, we are still anticipating the latest twist in our own personal historical journey. From epic battles to epic tunes, this day has been a whirlwind of unforgettable moments. Thanks for joining us on this delightful dash through time. We will catch you next time.
You're listening to Unlocking Lake County with Dick Barr.
Here's the top stories in real estate today. First up, according to a report from the National Association of Realtors, existing...
You're listening to Unlocking Lake County.
Unlocking Lake County
with Dick Barr. 98.3, The Life.
Welcome to Weird But True in Lake County, where we bring you the oddities and curiosities from right here in our own backyard. We've got an unusual story today that might just surprise you with a dash of mystery and history. Did you know that Lake County, Illinois is home to a piece of extraterrestrial history? Yes. You heard that right. Our story takes us to Vernon Hills, where an enormous rock, known as the Vernon Hills meteorite, was discovered. Imagine walking in a forest and stumbling across a 700-pound stone from outer space. In 1963, a farmer found this unexpected celestial visitor while clearing land. And here's the kicker. Scientists dated it to be over 4 billion years old, older than Earth itself. That's like having a visitor from the dawn of our solar system right here in Lake County's serene woods. And no need to worry, the meteorite isn't hazardous. It's mostly made of iron and nickel, and now proudly resides in the Field Museum in Chicago, offering visitors a touch of the cosmos. So next time you're gazing up at the night sky and think of meteors zipping across the heavens, remember, one of them decided to retire right here in Vernon Hills. Weird but true. Brought to you by the Sly Marinca team at Cross Country Mortgage. Sly and his team can be reached at 847-722-1775. Stay tuned for more weird but true facts next time, right here on Weird But True in Lake County.
Welcome back to Unlocking Lake County with your host, Dick Barr.
Hello and welcome back. This is Dick Barr, your host of Unlocking Lake County, here with Christin Kaufman.
Hey, hey.
And Sly Marinca.
Hello, hello.
Sly, of course, with the Sly Marinca team at Cross Country Mortgage. And you know what? I should have taken that break to say, hey, can we get your camera on Kate again?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so Kate, we're going to want to hear some more music, but first I want to get in a little bit, let's dive into the story, because you just told us you just flew in from London.
I did.
What was that all about?
Well, I am a flight attendant for a major airline, and Chicago, London's usually my normal route.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. London's my favorite city.
Mine too.
Yeah, I think it's an awesome city. But that's a heck of a flight.
It really is, and it's always full, so, I'm
Really?
busy. But I'd rather be busy than do nothing, you
Right.
know. It's great. And then I get to meet a lot of amazing people all over the world.
Sure.
It's such a wonderful opportunity. It's a great job. It's really a lot of fun.
Is the I don't want to say the name, but are they an American company?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And I was just curious because I can imagine if it's on a foreign airline, that
Right.
the number of the diversity is higher, right?
Oh, definitely.
Right.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So, how long have you been doing that?
Oh, boy. I got hired when I was 19.
Oh, really?
So I've been doing it for about 37 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a lot different than it used to be, isn't it?
Oh, totally different. Yeah, it used to be a lot of glamour and stuff like that, but it's changed over the years just from the things that have been happening.
Would you say that 9/11 was the biggest change in the industry, or were there other big changes?
Yeah, I think 9/11 was a huge change for us. I came back the day before.
Oh, wow.
And only to find out we had some of those people on our flight. It is kind of scary, and you don't think things like that. You just go to work, you do your job, come home. And I had to take 6 months off. It was really tough. We were able to get that, and the company offered that to us.
That's
and
nice.
It took a lot of time for us. And I had kids, they were younger at that time, and they did not want me going back to flying. But,
I bet.
I think once you get that in your body, in your system, you just want to travel. You want to fly. It's a part of you.
Do you have any stories of traveling that way that are just like, I got to tell this story to someone?
How long is your show?
As long as you want it to be, my friend.
Yeah. We got all day.
The funny thing is, we started the show doing only an hour, and we realized the first episode, that's not enough time.
Oh, yeah.
No,
We both
episode
talk too much.
1, we were so worried about how we were going to fill the airspace. Like, what are we going to talk about? But Dick and I are yappers.
Oh.
So you give us any amount of time. Yeah, Sly too. Yeah, you give us enough time, we're just going to keep talking.
Well, flight attendants are yappers too, so we'll talk all day if you let us.
Good.
Yeah, so do you do coach? You do first class? Is it a combination?
Well, yeah, usually we do a combination. Every month we bid for our schedule, and based on seniority, we can hold whatever, whatever it is. I like to choose London only because that's my favorite place. I have family there.
That's cool.
And I love the area. I just love it there. The people are so wonderful and so pleasant to talk to. It's like you're talking to someone you've known for years. And I just have such a great time with it. I really do. I like to fly coach because there's a lot more people I can communicate with. Sometimes there's a language barrier, and I feel really bad because I'm not multilingual. But they're just all amazing people. They really are.
Have you ever performed in London?
Yes, I have.
Yes, awesome. That was the first thing I thought of. I'm like, you should let them know you sing.
Yeah, I've done that. I've done a few shows over the years, and it's just word by mouth. Word of mouth. People would be like, "Hey, I heard you sing. We'd like you to come perform for us.
Yeah.
Was there any chance you can do that?" And I'm like, "Sure, why not? I'm free that week." So I would go and I do some performances out there. So it's a lot of fun.
Now, when I fly, I'll typically, in the candy shop or the concessions shop at the airport, I'll buy a box of candies and then give them to the
flight attendants. Oh, and we love those. We love those passengers.
Because you always usually get a couple extra bottles when you do that.
Oh, yeah.
Less likely to cut you off.
I'd be like, where's your suitcase? Let's go.
Does it happen often? Do most people do that?
Yeah, actually. I coming back yesterday, someone gave us like 3 bags of chocolates, and everyone's like, "Yeah, here's my handful, and then I go, "Guys, where's the chocolate, guys?" "Oh, they're gone." Really? I didn't give not even one.
I gotta be honest, that's never occurred to me to give a gift to the flight attendants.
No.
I've never known that was
the person that's going to get you into the inflatable raft when you crash into the ocean. You don't think to tip?
It just didn't occur to me that that's something that people do.
Oh yeah, it's been happening
now.
I
just didn't. That never crossed my mind.
Yeah, we really do appreciate that, because sometimes people don't really see what it is that we have to do every year. We have to go through security training, emergency training. I will be going next week, so that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Jumping out of airplanes, we do that every year.
What?
Just because if something does happen, we're ready. I can do it probably in my sleep. I don't want to do it in my sleep, but we probably could all do it in our sleep because that's such amazing and extensive training that we have with security, emergency, medical. We gotta know everything.
Huh. Yeah. I didn't grow up well traveled. I didn't fly for the first time until I was well into my 20s. So that's just not something I ever saw happen because I didn't see it.
Yeah, my first flight was probably the first flight I ever did ever to go for my interview.
Oh my goodness!
Really?
And I loved it.
Wow.
I'm like, sure, I'll be a flight attendant. Yeah, that'll be great.
Now, that's got to be a kind of a fun combination with the music scene, too.
It really is, because you can bid your days off.
Yeah.
And work around your schedule. And one thing that I like so much is that when you tell a flight attendant that you're singing and stuff, they're so supportive of you. They and they tell this person that, and then everybody, "Oh, you're the singer." It's like, yeah, that's me. So it's really great having the flight attendants in your life. That they're not just my flight attendants. They become family. They become your friends.
Do you stay with the crew? Like, is it?
Yeah, we do. We usually stay, depending on the type of travel that we're doing. We usually spend about 24 hours on a layover. It just gives us enough time to sleep, shop, do what we want to do, enjoy the day, get back to bed, and then, we're waking up in the middle of the night to fly back home.
And then when you fly with them, you're frequently with the same crew members too?
No, usually every month or every trip it's somebody different.
Okay.
Once in a while, if you're lucky, you can fly with somebody, specifically, and you fly together, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah, it really is.
No, that's pretty cool. That's awesome. So, what got you into music?
I started singing when I was a little girl, and my mother, she would take me to church, and we just start singing, and one of the directors heard me singing. I was probably 6 or 7 years old. And he said, "Hey, you think she could come and sing a song for us up in the loft?" I'm like, "Ooh, that's a big deal." And so I went and I sang, and every Sunday I just started singing. I was the only little kid that started singing solos.
You remember what song you sang for the first time in front of a crowd?
Boy, that's a good question.
It was in church.
It was in church.
That's why I asked. Yeah, that was the first time I ever sang in front of a crowd too, and I remember every single thing about it. So I was curious if you remember the song.
Do you?
I do.
Oh, they were all so different.
Yeah.
I mean, at Christmas time, I would have to sing solo. I would sing "O Little Town of Bethlehem."
Sure.
So I know that one. But every week was always something different. And they would get me to sing solos all the time. And it was kind of cool because when people would turn and look up at you, you're like, oh boy, everyone's looking at me. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing?
Were you nervous when you were young?
No, because it was just something that happened so naturally. And my mom would be like, yeah, you sang all the time. I could never get you to shut up. You know, it was just all the time.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, church. And then through school, I was, went to a Catholic school. And we had 2 nuns, of course. You guys probably heard some of those stories. They are true.
Yep.
One time every Mondays we had to go to church. And we had to sing. So the nun would go and she'd grab her ruler and pat me on the shoulder. I thought I did something wrong, but she's like, sing louder, sing louder.
Drown some of those other kids out.
Yeah, sing louder.
Right.
So that, I'm like, oh, okay, I'll sing louder. Just don't hit me with that ruler.
Again,
yeah, I got that a lot. So, and it was just over the years. And, I enjoyed listening to my brother's vinyls. I hope he's not listening because he'd probably kill me going, yeah, I knew it was you taking those records and listening to those songs. But I would listen to it all day long, all day.
what's your biggest inspiration for music style?
Oh, well, I have many different genres. My father would have me start singing jazz music, and
Really?
I would go to Chicago and start singing all different kinds of jazz songs with live bands. I didn't know what I was doing. I was, 14, 15 at the time. But every Tuesday nights, I'd be going to all over Chicago. There was a gentleman on the radio, and he was there, and, he mentioned my name, and the next Tuesday the place was packed.
Wow.
So it was a lot of fun, and I would go from jazz music to real oldies to, like from Steve Lawrence to Perry Como. Just old music. That's still beautiful today.
Sure.
It's just absolutely beautiful today. So then I got into rock. I went into high school and, ooh, what's this? This is pretty cool.
What kind of rock?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, I love Journey. I love Heart.
Okay.
Pat Benatar was the most amazing vocalist ever. I was a first soprano in high school, and she studied for soprano. And when I heard that, I'm like, okay, I really have to know more about her.
Yeah.
So she was a huge influence on me.
What's your favorite Pat Benatar song to sing?
Oh, Promises in the Dark.
Okay.
Was probably my favorite. We sing "Hit Me with Your Best Shot." I'm having a brain for I can't think right now, but
That's okay. They probably don't know who the hell you're talking about anyway.
Heartbreaker.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
Yes, she does.
I like We Belong Together.
Oh, I love that
That's
one
my
too.
favorite.
Anything Pat Benatar sang, I loved. Just anything she did, I loved.
Yeah.
So I think she was one of my biggest inspirations.
Oh.
Yeah.
How about Janis Joplin? I hear a rasp in your voice.
Well, as I got a little older, this raspiness started coming.
Okay.
A little sexiness. I don't know.
It's soul.
It's soul, yeah. But yeah, I like Janis Joplin too. I just did.
Do you sing any, Janice?
No, I don't.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't, replace her. She was
Right.
just.
What do they say? If you're going to sing someone's song, do it better.
Oh
And if you
yeah.
can't,
With
like,
her, you just can't.
It's hard.
Yeah,
That's
you
too much
can't with
pressure.
her.
Right.
That's too much pressure.
Yeah. She was really, really good. Yeah, I liked her too. But as I went back, I started to listen to country music, and country music was really hitting home for me, and a lot of the songwriting was just beautiful, and I'm thinking, I wonder if I could do something like that. I started writing when I was about 13 years old.
Oh, wow.
I wrote a song for a theater. I got into, it's called Emperor's New Clothes. That was probably the first one. I'm like, yeah, I'll try it. Let me see if I like theater. And I got the lead part. They gave me the songs, the music to learn. I'm like, ooh, I don't like this. So I rewrote it all. And I sent it to the director and I said, hey, what do you think? Here I am, a little kid. He's like, I love it. Let's do it.
Really?
That's cool.
He was the best. He really was. And I think that inspired me more to writing. So,
and that's really cool. Kudos to that person who said yes, because that's such a critical age where that self-doubt really starts to creep in. And I think that that's around the age where kids who would have otherwise explored that side of themselves get shamed out of doing it.
Right.
Oh,
you know, you get the cringy, the rejection, the fear of putting yourself out there and making a fool of yourself. And if that, you said it was a teacher?
Yeah.
If that teacher had been like, no, we're going to do it the way it's supposed to be. Like, that could have shut you down entirely from songwriting moving forward.
Very much so. And, you know, he just really believed in me.
That's
and
awesome.
sometimes when you have someone believe in you like that, when you don't really believe in yourself, it kind of lifts you up in so many levels.
Teachers, man, they make such a big difference.
Exactly. Yeah. I remember in high school, when my father passed away, I'll admit it, guys. I ditched school a lot. But I didn't go, like if I didn't go to English class, I was down in the music room. But the teachers knew. I'm like, I just call her. She's probably down in the music room, I guarantee you. So they did. My English teacher called my music teacher, said, hey, check and see if she's in the piano room. I was. So he would tell me, what are you doing? I'm like, sorry, I'm just not in the mood to be in class. He goes, well, what are you doing? I'm writing a song. Why don't you bring it to me, let me hear it, and I'll grade you on that.
What?
Wow. That's awesome. So you had the golden pass.
It was great. Well, they knew I was struggling with the loss of my dad. And, you know, that was really, really hard for me because he was my manager, got me, you know, was helping with my dream, you know, and as much as he believed in me, I was very blessed with that, you know, and some people are like, no, you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be an attorney, you're going to be this, and my dad was just like, be whatever makes you happy.
Wow.
That's awesome.
You know, and my dad was such an amazing father, an amazing parent. So was my mother. My mother, she was my best friend growing up. So they really did believe in me, and I was very grateful for that. So, and the teachers did too.
Yeah.
It was just a wonderful, wonderful thing for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Who are you going to cover for us today?
Well, I was going to do another original.
If you're ready for original?
Okay. Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, because...
No, 100%.
Thank you. Because a lot of these songs I've just released. And I am not a TikTok girl, but I'm definitely learning. And so we're learning very slowly. But we want to start putting it out on TikTok, getting it out there, and letting people hear it more. Because I think, if I could touch one heart with the songs that I've written,
that's awesome.
Then I've done my job. You know, and whatever path it is that God has for me is the way I'm going to go.
Now, you said you were signed to a label.
I'm with Magenta Records out in Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do they do like distribution for you? Do they get you any gigs, or how does that work?
Basically, what it is, it's an independent label.
Okay.
So we're basically doing it on our own. We pay for our recording time. We pay for our promotion and everything. So it's worth investing in.
Sure, but it's a huge investment. People should know that. It's a huge investment. Yeah. Just studio time alone.
Yeah.
Forget the pressing and the cutting and then the distribution, all of that stuff.
Exactly.
And the marketing.
Exactly. And, my husband's been so wonderful. He's been doing it all for me because, he knows a lot of things I need to get done too. Not just with the flying aspect, but the songwriting. And it takes a while. Sometimes it takes me 5 minutes. Other times it takes me, a couple weeks to get the song to where I want it to be, where I want to, record it and stuff.
So, and for the listeners, her husband Ron is here. He's not on mic. If you want to jump on mic, okay. And so obviously, he chaperoned you here.
He sure did.
He made the arrangements for this. So I really appreciate that, Ron. Thanks for reaching out. Does Ron have a day job? Does he have another? No, he's retired.
He's retired.
Yeah, okay, awesome.
Well,
so that comes in handy.
I guess he does have a job now. He works, for me.
Publicity for According to Kate. What type of music does According to Kate sing?
Now, we do, you can't get the rock out of me. I'm sorry. I love country music, but there's just some rock tunes that I love too. We do Journey, Pat Benatar. Those two are my favorite. But some people don't know Triumph.
I don't know Triumph.
I don't know Triumph.
No?
I know Triumph, the angry insult comic.
Oh, the dog, yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Have you guys ever heard of Magic Power?
No.
No?
Sorry.
Oh my goodness!
You could have sang it and pretended it was an original. You would have.
You
pulled
know
the wool
what?
over all of us.
I probably could have been like, oh, yeah, here's an original for you. No, but you know, it's Magic Power. We do that as well on at our shows, and I've got an amazing drummer. He just kills it with the drums. He's phenomenal. All my band members are great. You know, they're family.
That's
and
awesome.
I love working with them and the style that they create, and you know, it's just an as soon as we get on stage, we're all like completely different people. We just have fun, and it's great. We do the country we do is like Miranda Lambert, Carrie Underwood, the band Perry. I mean, I can go on and on, but there's just so many that we do.
It's also good having a variety in your playbook.
Yeah,
definitely
you really want to have
more
it.
audience.
Definitely, most
entertained.
definitely. And then, you know, with the originals that we've been cutting, we've been playing them, but you know, we wanted to go down to Nashville and have it recorded. And it was just a wonderful gift for us because we just thought, you know, we were just going to play it this way. But when Red Ridge Entertainment came and said, "Hey, we want to work with you. We want to do this for you," going into the studios, you know, they just it was just magic. That's all I can say.
It's awesome
what they did.
Are you guys ready to do another one?
I'm ready.
Yeah, Ron,
Yeah.
you all set?
Yeah.
I've got you queued up on 2.
I want to take a quick drink of water, though.
Go for it. And this is Kate Russell with another original.
It's called Miss Your Kiss.
Oh, I can't help it. My heart is on fire. Babe, you're my desire. Oh, for one moment, just to taste your lips, I could kiss you for hours. No matter how hard I try, I can't get you out of my mind. 'Cause, baby, I miss your kiss. The one thing that I miss. Baby, I miss your kiss. I never knew love could be like this. You know, baby, I miss your kiss.
Nice.
Baby, when you hold me, you know you really show me that we're meant to be. Oh, my heart's aching. Sometimes I feel it breaking when you can't be with me. I know we're so far away. Wish I could see you every day. 'Cause, baby, I miss your kiss. The one thing that I miss. Baby, I miss your kiss. I never knew love could be like this. You know, baby, I miss your kiss. Ooh.
It's like the perfect anthem for flight attendants.
Right?
No matter how hard I try, I can't get you out of my mind. 'Cause, baby, I miss your kiss. The one thing that I miss. Baby, I miss your kiss. I never knew love could be like this. You know, baby, I miss your kiss. From the first time that we kissed, you know, baby, I miss your kiss. I never knew love could be like this. You know, baby, I miss your kiss.
Wow. You are talented.
Very talented. Well done.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Thank you so much.
So what is it? What's the process like to make that? What comes first, the music or the lyrics?
Oh, it depends. Sometimes I'll hear a guitar part. Sometimes I'll play on the piano. I'll be, ooh, this sounds good, and then I'll keep working on it, and then a title will click in my head, and I just start writing.
Yeah, and then do you come up with the melody of it, or
Yeah,
you do. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you ever so growing up? So I spent a little time in the recording studios upstate New York. There was, I don't know if you know Casey and the Sunshine Band.
I do.
Okay, so they used to record up in the studio up in the Catskill Mountains where I grew up, and we used to hang out at the studio. We would hang out with the producer there, and but our favorite moments were when just random musicians came and they just started a jam session.
Oh, those are the best.
Oh, they're the most interesting, fun things in the world.
Yeah, and when people just get together and they just play, it's so much fun.
In let's see, 2010, we held a concert. My brother and I and a couple of his friends, we produced. It was called Long Island Southern Jam. Happened on Long Island. It was Marshall Tucker, Molly Hatchet, Chris Hicks, the Outlaws. And then there was one other smaller band got together, and they finished the show with just an entire jam.
Oh,
It was the
it.
coolest experience of my life.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
nice. I love music.
Yeah. A birdie told me that she sings a phenomenal cover of, is it Don't Stop Believin'?
Oh.
That's what the rumor is here.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But I love Journey. All their songs. His voice has always just touched my heart.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody knows "Don't Stop Believin'."
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
It is a showstopper.
it's such a beautiful song.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's probably one of my favorites.
Can we hear that one maybe?
Okay, but if I crack, don't laugh, because I'm still on a little sleep from yesterday.
No, absolutely. The if you don't mind doing it, I'd love to hear that.
Yeah.
There's
All right.
Is that your go-to karaoke song?
Sometimes not.
What would be your number one go-to karaoke song?
Carrie Underwood?
Which song?
Oh my gosh, Blown Away, Two Black Cadillacs. Then I got some Miranda stuff. Fastest Girl in Town, Baggage Claim, Mama's Broken Heart. Oh boy.
So there's not really one go-to then?
Yeah.
No.
Just depends on what you're feeling that day.
Yeah, whatever I'm feeling.
Nice. Sly, what would be your go-to karaoke song if you had to do it?
Ooh, I don't even know, but probably something by like Creed. I don't know, like.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to a Creed concert recently, and I jammed out in the car to Creed. So.
Dick, what about you?
Oh, you know what it is.
But you have to say it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do karaoke anymore.
But if you did.
My voice sounds like this.
But if you had to.
Of course, Sinatra's My Way.
Oh,
Yeah.
There you
I love Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my mom listens to that. My mom's got dementia, so.
What about you?
Me? Bobby McGee, Janis Joplin.
There
Every
you go.
time. It's my go-to.
Really?
Yeah, it's my go-to.
What's one of my favorite songs?
Oh, yeah? I didn't know
great
that.
song.
I didn't
Okay,
know you
which
did
one?
karaoke.
Which one for you?
Bobby McGee.
Oh, okay,
Janis
got it.
Joplin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
It sounds, just like that.
Well, I've got the rasp to make it work. I just love the way they really jam at the end of that song.
That part's a little awkward when you're karaokeing because you're just standing there
Yeah.
for, I think, about 16, whatever it is, measures, beats, whatever. So,
that's when you walk the crowd and you get everyone riled up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You tell them to tip the karaoke DJ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready to do some Journey?
I will.
Awesome. I didn't know that about you, Kristen. I didn't know you did karaoke.
Now you know.
No, I do.
We should let her do one.
Yeah.
Talking about putting people on the spot.
Just a small town girl
Wow.
living in a lonely world. She took a midnight train going anywhere. Just a city boy, born and raised in South Detroit. He took a midnight train going anywhere. A singer a smoky room, the smell of wine and cheap perfume. For a smile we can share the night. It goes on and on and on and on. Strangers waiting up and down the boulevard. There's shadows searching in the night. Street lights, people living just to find emotion, hiding somewhere in the night.
Wow!
Yes.
Christin, I thought you were singing harmonies on that one. It's on the track.
Working hard to get my feel. Everybody wants a thrill. Saying anything to roll the dice. Just one more time. Some will win, some will lose. Some are born to sing the blues. Oh, the movie never ends. It goes on and on and on and on. Strangers waiting up and down the boulevard. There's shadows searching in the night. Street lights, people living just to find emotion, hiding somewhere in the night.
You killing it.
Wow.
And we're giving people 2 hours worth of entertainment in
Yeah, no kidding.
3 minutes.
I take tips.
Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. Street lights, people. Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. Street lights, people. Don't stop believing. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Street lights, people. Don't stop.
Wow.
Ooh.
Definitely don't stop.
No, please.
Holy crap.
Incredible.
That was amazing.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, wrap it up. That's a take.
Yep.
Send that out on the wire. That was unbelievable.
Thank you so much.
God, you know, you jet lagged. You didn't sleep at all last night, and you still nailed it.
Did not skip a beat.
Okay, so where can people hear you? Where do you play locally?
Well, we are playing June 13th at Primo's in Gurney.
Ah, Primo's!
Yeah, and I believe it's from 7 to 10. And then if you want to check us out, I think it's according to Kate Page, our Facebook page, or you can go on atkband.com. You can look at us there. And
so hold on, I got to just because we have a community broadcast license,
Yeah.
we got to be specific. So we can't tell anyone to go someplace, but we can say something like, "My page is located at."
Oh,
Yeah. So what's the website for the page?
it is atkband.com.
atkband.com.
Yes.
I know it sounds silly, but
Oh, no, do what you gotta do.
Okay, awesome. No, that's awesome. And then your Facebook page is according to Kate.
Yes.
And they are tagged on the live stream. So on the live stream that we put out there, Kate and her band are tagged on this. What do you have any favorite venues in the area? That places that you just like going back to?
I love Firewater. That's in Edison Park in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite places. Diamond Gyms in East Dundee. That's a lot of fun there too. I like Primo's too. You know, everywhere I go in the area, you know, I like helping the community out.
Did you ever do Fat Man's? Because that's the Kayats also.
I haven't done that one yet.
Okay. They got a nice big outdoor venue there too.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's really great.
Yeah. What's it take to get into this scene? Like, how do you... Is Ron going out making these bookings for you?
He is.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably the one that you want to talk to about it. He doesn't want to say anything right now. He's like, I'm working.
He's like,
here.
if I wanted to be put on the spot, I would be the performer.
You know what? I think
not.
sometimes
Leave
we
me
should.
alone.
Yeah, I think we should put you on the spot sometimes.
Just to see what it's like.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, him selling your talent to any venue is kind of like, someone trying to sell water in the desert. It's like it's the easiest product to sell.
Yeah. Well,
That's fantastic.
And we have like an electronic press kit. So if anyone is interested, we can just send that to them as well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we did that down in Nashville also.
Yeah, well, smart.
Yeah.
Makes it easy, especially going out and doing these live events.
Right.
So you said June 13th you'll be at Primo, 7 to 10 o'clock.
Correct.
What was the other one you said?
We will be at. He's got all my information.
I know you.
They're like, I just go where they tell me, man.
You know what? It's true. It's just I can't see it on my glasses.
She'll be at Diamond Gyms Sunday, August 3rd at 2 p.m.
See, he knows.
Sly just has to know everything today. Good for you, Sly.
Yeah.
Hey, where's Diamond Gyms?
Diamond Gyms is located at 325 Meyer Street, Suite 1325 in East Dundee,
Jeez,
Illinois.
you know everything. Everything. Yeah.
You got this, Sly. You're hired.
The Beach House in Ingleside?
Oh, yeah.
What's the date on that?
Come on, Sly.
What you
don't
doing
know
there?
already?
Sly's
I'm on her
ChatGPT
website.
is
I
He's
never
on
seen
it.
that
He's
one.
on it.
They haven't posted it yet.
So we're giving out information nobody knows yet.
Breaking.
Wow.
Breaking news.
yes.
We're gonna have Sly say something. I like that. I like the voice there.
He does have a good voice, doesn't
Yes,
he?
he
really
does.
does. Yeah.
He totally does.
He does.
It's not pick on Sly Day, I promise.
Complimenting you, Sly. In fact, that's actually one of the big bits of feedback I always get anytime that my clients talk to you. They're always like, man, he is just so friendly. He's just like just so easy to talk to.
Yeah.
Everyone gives me that feedback about you.
Thank you. All right. So, July 22nd, it says. Is that when you're going to be at the Beach House?
Now
July 12th.
I was
I'm
just
sorry.
about to do that.
July 12th. July 12th, she will be at the Beach House in Ingleside.
Okay, awesome. And that's you solo, or is that according to Kate, the whole band?
According to Kate, the whole
Yeah.
band.
Awesome. Yeah, we're definitely going to get out and get to see your band play.
Yeah,
You're
I would
fantastic.
really love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
What are the as you've been in this business a long time.
Yeah.
Is it better for you having such a large variety of newcomers coming into the business, or is that challenging? Does it make more people interested, or does it kind of fight for very scarce playtime?
Well, when more artists come in, to me, everyone's talented.
Yeah.
I say have at it. You guys, some people are like, oh man, I gotta, fight for this. I gotta play at this show, and I'm like, wow, that'd be great. Let's go see them. I'd be all about it,
Yeah.
And the talent out there is amazing, and we just keep pulling forward.
When COVID hit, did that affect your obviously your music business, and did it slow you down?
It did. It slowed us down tremendously, and I'm sure it slowed down all the bands. So we were trying to do social media and give people stuff online, and here's what we've been doing,
Right.
and I think the band we were more tight and we were having more fun. Even if we're down in the basement doing our
Right.
music, and then sharing it with people online, and everyone appreciated it.
Well, because everyone was home.
Everybody was home.
You got a captive audience.
Yeah. It's like, what am I going to do? Oh, let's watch, let's listen to Kate sing for a little bit. And, that was great too, because I love the support. I really do. If it weren't for, my fans, I wouldn't be here.
Right.
And they give me a reason to want to be better, because I can always be better. You always just, I'm good, but I can be better. I want to become better for them. Mm-hmm. And give them, hey, can you write a song about this? Or I'm going through this. What about, would you ever be willing to write a song?
For that sort of thing?
I actually do.
Huh.
Wow.
I actually do. I was sitting on a jump seat one night. We were going to London, and a flight attendant and I, we were just talking, and he was like, what are you writing? I'm like, oh, I'm writing a song. I just don't know where I want it to go. And he's like, what are you feeling? And I'm like, oh, it's just, I'm, dating people, and it's like, you're just waiting on nothing. He goes, really? You just wrote a song? I go, I did? He goes, yeah. Waiting on Nothing. Wow. So I wrote a song called Waiting on Nothing.
Wow. Yeah.
Now, do you ever do like, so I don't know if you're familiar with like Taylor Swift's like songwriting style, right? But every once in a while she'll put out albums where she'll be like, these are all concepts of things. There's stories that are sort of made up and she's got sort of like her own folklore, which is why she has an album named Folklore, right? And whenever she describes the album, she's like, these are things that I sort of created in this imaginary world. Do you ever like write from like a perspective of not something that you necessarily went through, but from what you would imagine and like create a world around that song?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Because you kind of want to think outside of the box. I mean, there's a lot of things that happen in your life. You want to share it with people because you're not the only one going through things. Mm-hmm. So, you know, with Taylor Swift, you know, she's got such a great idea on her songwriting. She's been doing it ever since she was, you know, in her teens. Mm-hmm. So for her to do that, I mean, she's such an amazing artist. Yeah. She really is. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, any song that she writes is just beautiful. Mm-hmm. So,
I agree.
Yeah. We were going to London. Here's London, another London story. And our plane was full of Taylor Swifties.
Perfect.
Were they going for the concert there?
Oh, yeah. And the one thing I didn't know was they give you bracelets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, you know, by the end of the flight, we're all wearing these really cool bracelets. I'm like, okay, this is kind of fun, you know? Fun. But, you know, to have that kind of...
The friendship bracelets.
Yes. Yeah, so she's doing something right. She's doing really good.
Yeah. She's a billionaire, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's what I thought.
Yeah, she's not flying a commercial.
Right.
No.
Yeah, unfortunately,
her carbon
I know nothing
footprint
about her.
Yeah, right? That's actually one of the biggest criticisms that the younger generation has about her. Yeah.
Is what?
Her carbon footprint. Her private jets and all that.
She has multiple private jets that taxi back and forth, and like if you do that, she consumes or she creates the same amount of carbon in 1 year that the average person will create in their entire lifetime.
Okay.
So,
now you know.
Yeah.
Now we know.
And I learned something new.
Yep.
You got any more tricks in that bag?
Oh, boss, do I have any more tricks in this bag? Well, we have, what do we got?
Yeah.
All right, well.
What's the first one that came to mind?
Let's see. All right, you got to take me off video because I'm putting my glasses on.
Are you serious? Do you want me to?
What's wrong with glasses?
You look great.
And you know what?
You're stylish.
My whole thing is I cannot put on...
And they're smoky like Janice's.
Right? I can't do contacts.
I can't either. I did it during the pandemic when we had to wear the masks because I could not, like, sensory-wise, handle the mask and the glasses. They just kept falling off. So I did get used to the contacts during that. It's the only time I've ever done contacts in my life, though. I hate them.
I could never touch my eyeball. Period. End of story.
No.
That part doesn't bother me. I'm walking around all day just blinking because I'm so aware of their presence.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? Okay, I don't like to swear. I'm not a big swearing person. But sometimes, you know, F-bombs happen when I'm putting the contacts in. Because it takes me about 30 minutes to put one in.
Jeez.
No, it's like, okay, now I know I can do this. But it's the whole thing about touching my eye.
I can't
do it.
That never bothered me, but that's, I think, just because of doing makeup ever since I was a kid, you know? You put the eyeliner, the mascara, like, you used to getting that stuff in your eye, you would just wipe it right out. So I never had a problem putting them in, but just wearing them all day. I'm just, like, super aware of it. I could never not be aware of it.
Right.
Yeah.
But then you're like, oh, I got to put this thing in my eye. Okay, good luck.
I wish I could wear them, though, because, man, I hate looking like a dork driving around in the summertime with the sunglasses over my glasses because I haven't just went and got a prescription pair of sunglasses. That really would solve my problem.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to... Do you have it? Oh boy, we still got to work.
Okay,
all right, glasses go back
now
on.
I'm going to fill up
there
the
we
time.
go.
Would you sing? I want to hear you sing. Actually,
I would love to hear Bobby.
We've got to plan some kind of like karaoke outing for us in the office.
So when
oh, I'm totally in if you guys don't mind.
She's in. We'll just make her sing the whole time.
When COVID hit, I started the karaoke. It was the quarantine karaoke.
Okay.
And I was a county board member at that time, so I had a big audience. and this is just when it first started hitting. And then I couldn't believe the number of local singers, local musicians, talent who just came and started participating with it. And we did it for like 6 weeks in a row, and people look forward to it. It was an awesome time.
Wait, I think I remember this. Was there like a Brady Bunch spoof at one point?
Yeah, we did a Brady Bunch spoof.
Oh my God, I remember
Ed
that.
and I did like an Abbott and Costello spoof. There was the Quarantine Bunch, we called it.
That's so funny.
And it was
so fun.
Yeah, that was we were playing with, and that's how I got good at like video editing. Was we were playing with how to create cool videos out of this. We just played with all the green screens and stuff.
Sure.
It was a lot of fun. Talk for a minute.
Oh.
Yeah.
You remember how you said earlier where you
it.
said, Kristen, I know sometimes I like to put things on you, but today's not
I
the
have
day.
breaking news.
Ooh, Sly has breaking news.
Jerome Powell left rates unchanged. So as we
90% chance.
Yep.
Breaking news, nothing changed.
Breaking news, more of the same. So we'll have to see going forward what the inflation reading comes out next week. If inflation goes low, we could see.
Did they give an indication of where they're going in the future?
Not as much as I think the markets would like, because they are still, uncharted territory with Trump tariffs, and all of that was the verbiage. Oh, here we go. Oh, I'll stop talking.
Oh, I blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh boy.
Okay. Hey, while you guys look, here, I'm going to do it. Kristen, here you go.
Here's a story.
Can you hear it?
Hear what?
Oh, you don't hear anything?
Oh, there it is, yeah.
She couldn't see her friends, even slightly. She was all alone.
All right, I think we're ready.
You're all set?
You guys ready for the next one?
Hey, I wanted to hear that. That was really cool.
He'll send you the link.
Okay. Okay, you're good. You're good to go if you're ready.
This will be my next release. It's called Shame on Me.
Okay.
You don't see how much you mean to me. Some of the things you do makes me so confused.
Uh-oh, we lost you.
Well, Dick is also confused.
That's okay. Did you lose the signal to the Bluetooth? Acapella?
So much
No.
for the lack of technical difficulties, Sly.
Hey, that's not on me this time.
Allegedly.
And he's my sound man, so he should be ready for this. Come on, let's go.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Here, let me get the headphones down so Kristen can hear, so you can put on her headphones again. It's loud. There we go. So now, besides London,
Yeah.
let's go back to the flight attendant stuff.
Sure.
Where else have you flown?
I have been to Tokyo. I've been to China, Germany lots of times, Sweden, and Ireland, Edinburgh, trying to think, Hawaii.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
Did you get any long layovers in Hawaii?
No, usually it's 24 hours. They don't really give us,
Really?
very long times. Like,
Can you ever make an arrangement, like let's say you and Don want to go on vacation? Can you get a leg out working and then stay for 2 weeks?
No.
No. I would have thought that was the perk of being a flight attendant.
I think you need to call my boss
Yeah.
and tell him, she needs 2 weeks.
That's just good business.
Right? You would think.
Or is it like a thing where it's like a liability where like the whole time you're there, you're then technically like on company time or something like that?
Yeah, you're
Oh,
on
that's a
company
good point.
time.
Okay.
And, yeah, so, but it's okay, you get to at least see wherever it
Yeah,
is that
of
you're
course.
going.
And
Even
you
if
could
it's just
fly anywhere for free too, right?
Yeah, well, it depends. Like, because I've been flying for over 30 years, so it is free anywhere in the United States.
Oh, just
you
US.
just pay like a tax, like
Okay.
whatever it is,
Right.
the landing fees or
Airport
whatever
fees,
it
right.
is. Yeah. And but it's still worth it. It really is. And space available, too. There may be times where you're stuck somewhere and be like, okay, when am I getting home? I got to work tomorrow.
But you don't do any domestic. You just assume go back and forth to London, and that's your gig.
I've done domestic. Yeah. I've done that for years.
Oh, okay.
And I like it, but it's just, if I can have the opportunity to go to London.
Why go to Omaha when you could go to London, right?
Exactly. And there's only so much
nothing
you
wrong
can
with
do.
Omaha.
Right? There's only so much you can do in Grand Rapids,
Yeah,
I'm
right?
just saying.
I don't think our station goes out that far.
Good,
I think you're good.
Well, just don't want to hurt someone's feelings. Omaha's
I
great.
don't know. I was looking at the stats. We've got people all over Asia, Europe listening. So you don't know. You might have offended someone in Omaha.
Well, there you go. Sorry.
All three of them.
Yes. Yep.
Are you ready to go? Okay. Let's see. And let me know if it's just a connection to the Bluetooth.
Yeah, because if it is, I think we have a...
There we go. Here we go. Kate Russell, another original.
You don't see how much you mean to me. Some of the things you do makes me so confused. You say that you love me. I find it hard to believe. 'Cause when you go home, I know you're not alone. I wanna give you more than you can give. But is this the way that I should live? Shame on me, falling for you with my eyes closed. I should be more careful where my heart goes. I know that loving you's a big mistake, but is this a chance I want to take? Shame on me. Ooh, shame on you. Shame on me. Ooh, shame on you. After all these years, you say you'll walk away, but here I am, still waiting. I'm not an open door. Don't wanna cry no more. You'll never give your heart completely. You say you want your cake and eat it too. And here I am still playing the fool. Shame on me, falling for you with my eyes closed. I should be more careful where my heart goes. I know that loving you's a big mistake, but is this a chance I want to take? Shame on me. Ooh, shame on you. Shame on me. Ooh, shame on you. Shame on me. Ooh, shame on me.
Nice.
Bravo.
Awesome. Kate Russell, according to Kate, your husband Ron, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us here.
Yeah, this was awesome. You really, you did us proud. You did fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Primo, you're performing Primo what night?
June 13th.
June 13th from 7 to 10 p.m. and someplace in Ingleside, too. Remember where the famous days?
Beach House.
Oh, Beach House.
July 12th.
July 12th. Thanks for joining us. You're
Thank
a
you so
fantastic
much,
talent. Ron,
Yes,
thanks for bringing her in. Everyone else, we'll catch you next week on our show with our regularly scheduled program. Thanks for listening, and have a fantastic week.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Unlocking Lake County with Dick Barr. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the heart of our community, exploring the ins and outs of real estate and meeting the people who make Lake County truly remarkable. Remember, every property has a story, and every community member holds a key to unlocking our county's full potential. Don't miss out on discovering more hidden gems and expert insights. Make sure to tune in every Wednesday at 12 noon for another episode of Unlocking Lake County with Dick Barr. Until then, keep exploring, keep dreaming, and keep unlocking the possibilities that await you in Lake County. Thank you for listening, and see you next week.